The year is 2000. Y2K just happened. The scare is over, and everybody's getting back to their lives again. One particular game releases in July of that year, Soulbringer. It didn't do very well, it didn't stand out very much. But games like these are impactful. Some of them may very well be a dime a dozen, and the price may well reflect that. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't look more into them individually. What is Soulbringer? Soulbringer is a fantasy RPG developed by Gremlin Interactive and published by Interplay Entertainment and Infogrames. The game is 3D with a helicopter POV. It's very interesting to see the choices they've made with this game, such as the futuristic menu, for whatever reason, may have just been a design choice, but the actual game itself being medieval, two very different vibes. Soulbringer received average ratings according to the review aggregation website Game Rankings, and it was not particularly a great seller for Interplay. It is quite interesting though. A point-and-click game, very retro. As the description goes, it features a 5-act plot that involves the player in a fully 3D world with 1,000 years of history. It includes over 60 speaking NPCs, with over 450 people, plus over 100 locations to visit spanning an incredible 60 unique maps. That's a lot to think about. And this was released 24 years ago. What is the plot of Soulbringer? It actually has two endings, one good and one bad. The game starts off with the story of a young man arriving in a town called Madrigal to find his uncle Andres.
Wake up, sir.
I've just had the strangest dream. About a man with glowing eyes fighting a demon. Is this it, ferryman?
Aye, sir. Madrigal.
Perhaps you could help. I'm looking for my uncle. He goes by the name of Andres,
who is the man's only remaining family member after his father died. The protagonist is soon caught in the middle of strange bandit activity around town, and then drawn into escalating political and supernatural strife across the world. During the game, it is revealed that the hero is a reincarnation of a powerful being whose purpose is to defeat a group of ancient demons known as Revenants. Even though forgotten, the Revenants are secretly standing behind all major conflicts and problems encountered. The hero has to reawaken his past life powers, travel to parallel worlds, and ultimately trap the Revenants within the mystical well of souls. How about gameplay? We know the story, but how does the game actually feel?
Thank you, lad, thank you. Here, this is something I found in the mud on the side of the river. Who knows, it might even be valuable. I saw some of those brigands heading into the sewers under Madrigal. Maybe they're keeping their loot down there. Be careful of the spiders, though. Good luck, lad.
Well, well, well. Look what the wind blew in.
Good even, sir. Might you know of Andres?
I might.
For the combat system, each weapon has a set of possible moves, with more powerful moves becoming available as points are put into the combat skill. The game includes a novel magic system. Rather than having reflexively opposing categories of magic, Soulbringer's magic system is circular. Air suppresses earth, which suppresses spirit, which suppresses water, which suppresses fire, which comes back to air. Considerable strategy is thus needed to achieve a desirable balance within the elements. Spells are obtained from spell books that are unlocked by runes. More powerful spells become accessible as points are put into the magic skill. A spell's power depends on magic skill and on strength within the elements that make up the spell. It's quite sensible. Each move and spell requires a certain amount of time to prepare and execute, including drawing the weapon, if necessary. Motion capture is used to display such actions for added realism. Soulbringer also takes terrain and placement into account. For example, spiders on the ground can only be hit by low attacks, and if somebody's up high, then a high attack is needed. Combinations of attacks and spells can be preset and assigned to hotkeys. Now, much like other games from that period, this one can be a little tricky to get running on current hardware. So, if you want to play retro games, if you're getting into that field, then you might have some difficulty doing so. You might have to find some plugins, download some add-ons, try to figure out what works. It's hard to predict the future, especially when you only need half a gigabyte of RAM, a 3D graphics card, and a 1.8 gigahertz processor. Also, I'm pretty sure this thing is not even a gig in space, to be honest. It's not very big at all. That's to be expected. If you enjoy fantasy, like point-and-click games, like the style, there's many reasons, honestly, to play this game. If you're coming back to experience it, I myself, I was exposed to it as a child. My grandfather actually was playing it on the family computer. It was very interesting to come across. I found it, and it was a little difficult for a kid who never really played a point-and-click game before. I could count on one hand the amount of games I've played that are point-and-click. That genre isn't very, it's very niche. It doesn't stand out. Is that necessarily a bad thing? No, but it makes it easier to understand and put into perspective. Anyway, here's to all those games that we played once or twice, forgot about, or maybe are coming back across.